Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing good. So with me here is the Nokia 800 TUF. Now, as you would have expected, this is not a new device. This was actually launched in November 2019. And I have been searching for one ever since. The problem is either they are too hard to get or the price is just too much to pay for. Now I got this for a very good bargain. You won't believe it. This mint condition Nokia 800 TUF, which is an original Nokia 800 TUF, cost just about USD 20. So that's how cheap it was, and I did not hesitate but just to get one. Now what makes the Nokia 800 TUF really unique is that it's not just a rugged feature phone, but it also runs on KaiOS. Now I've had my experience with KaiOS with devices like the Nokia 81104 4G, where the experience was simply horrible. The build quality was nothing to be proud of, but the Nokia 800 TUF here seems to be doing something quite opposite. So before we delve further into the Nokia 800 TUF, let's share a bit more information about this device. Now this is the second device after the Nokia XR20, which boasts the 810G military standard build quality. So this is a rugged device which is extra durable than your standard device. Now of course Nokia and durability are quite synonymous with devices like the iconic 3310 and whatnot, but this takes durability to an entire new definition. Now having said that, it is indeed a chunky device. Now having that next to the Nokia XR21, which is my daily driver, you can see how thick the device is. This is at 16 millimeters of thickness, and just to give you a perspective into previous generations of feature phones, you can see how gigantic the Nokia 800 TUF is. It weighs in at 160 grams, but thanks to its large weight, it doesn't really feel dense. It feels that the weight is evenly distributed, so it's really nice. And I like these ridges over the side, which gives you a really satisfactory grip in the hand. So even for my rather tiny hand, the feel of the Nokia 800 TUF is really comfortable. Now the device is largely made of plastic and some metal around the camera islands over the rear, and you can see it just screams ruggedness with all these screws in places, almost all aspects of it, and they've cleverly hidden certain compartments next to these slots. Now this is the slot on the left hand side of the device for you to insert your SIM card as well as your memory card. So this has dual SIM with a hybrid SIM option. Now this is two stage. Actually you need to remove this to expose this inner slot, where you use a SIM ejector tool to eject this slot outside. Not really easy, you might need some tools to pry to pull it out, pull the slot out for you to insert your card. But this is done probably because of its water protection purposes. And one thing I really like about the design of this slot is the hinge is slightly mobile. On previous generation of Nokia devices and many other devices out there, slots like this will have a rather static hinge, which is mobile due to its plasticity. So it's either made of some plastic material or some rubber material, which allows it to be mobile. But the design in the Nokia 800 TUF is slightly different, where it can actually move before you actually turn them around. So what it means is that with the previous design, the hinges usually wear off and tear over a period of time, so you'll have a floating compartment here. So with this type of design, this is going to last way much longer than the previous generation. On top is a flashlight, which is really cool because you've got a separate camera flashlight on the rear, so they didn't really cheap out on that. You've got a separate light for torch purposes, and it's going to be slightly hard to pry this open, but it's really nice how snugly fit all these are designed. So this is where you actually sort of have your jack in. This is the 3.5mm jack, which is a rarity these days. I really like how tough and solid the slot is for you to pry open before you get in. And this is where you charge it, and unfortunately this is actually using the micro USB charger. I would hope for at least for a USB-C, so that we can actually save on the cables, but it is what it is. Now it is powered by a 2100 milliampere battery, which is unfortunately not removable, but totally understandable for a device of its quality. Now the battery is rated at about 9 hours of talk time at 4G and up to a month of standby time. Now the device weighs in at 160 grams, but like I've said, large device, doesn't feel dense, really feel comfortable in the hand, and it is really durable in terms of how it is designed, how well it is sealed. So it has an IP68 rating, so you can actually submerge your device in probably about 1.5 meter for half an hour or so, and rest assured that the device will survive many forms of torture. Now what makes the device interesting is that it runs on KaiOS, which gives feature phone some smart features. And if you have followed my previous video on the Nokia 8110 4G, the experience was rather uncomfortable. The device was small, cramped up keys, and really sluggish in performance, and definitely a very poor build quality for the 8110 4G. And the Nokia 800 TUF here is just the total opposite of it. It is large, the keys are well spaced, slightly elevated, clunky but still comfortable, and most importantly, extra durable build quality gives you really the confidence of using the device. And if you're wondering, yes, you can use it single-handedly. Even in my small Asian hands, I can still hold it comfortably in one hand for my usage purposes. It's powered by Qualcomm 205, has 512 megabyte of RAM and 4 GB of storage, and you can actually expand it. Now it runs on KaiOS 2.5, which means WhatsApp is still very much possible with this device here, unlike the KaiOS 3. Not really sure what the arrangement is going to be like in future KaiOS updates, but as of now, the KaiOS 2.5 supports the WhatsApp app just fine. Now I have to say that this device is really interesting because it has a lot of good features. It's got a dual speaker setup up front. Over the rear, you've got a camera with flash. This is a 2 megapixel camera. I'll be sharing the camera samples over the back over the end of the video, and it looks to me like this is somewhat of a fixed focus camera. Now let's go. So I think by now we are quite familiar with the layout for KaiOS. So this is how it looks like. Pretty much looks like your standard or average feature phone user interface, but it has some other additional application, especially a dedicated app store. And looking at the app store, comparing to the early generation of the KaiOS app store, there has been a lot of new apps been added into the app store, so everything is collected to a one centralized area for you to easily access it. So this is something cool about KaiOS, is that you do have some apps being collated into a dedicated app store for easy use purposes. When it comes to YouTube, this has a JTube vibe to it, and I would say it's much smoother in that sense. So you can actually watch the video that you want instantly. You can just either just log in, and definitely you'll see your subscribed video channels popping up, or you can actually also randomly just search for the video like I'm going to do right now. So just go back to alphabets, type in Nokia 150, let's go there. Okay, so just going to go to one of my videos so that we don't run into any copyright issues. But you can see how fast and how smooth it handles. Not much of a lag, I would say. In fact, it's totally understandable for a feature phone like this. So there we go. And once it loads the video, then it will switch to the landscape orientation. And you can see how loud and clear the audio is. It's really straightforward in that sense. So quite a good experience with the YouTube application. Now the web application, the browser application is standard. But one thing great about the browser application here is that they don't really enforce you to use Google search. In fact, if you go to the settings, you can personalize your search engine. I'll share this much later. You do have Google Assistant, which you can simply just access with a single click of a button. Use your voice to do certain search. I'm not going to activate it. And you have maps for turn-by-turn navigation, either walking, cycling, or even driving. You can have navigation to assist you. So these are some cool features that is not really seen in many feature phones, I would say. You do have an email client, something that I did not want to try because you need to downgrade your security level in order to access email here. So you can actually sync your email here, which means you can also sync your calendar entries if you want to. So let me just show you here. Once you go to the calendar options and you go to settings, and you can add your account where you can actually sync your calendar to your Gmail account, so you are up to date and all things are updated. So that's something interesting with KaiOS, something really nice to have a calendar which is going to be syncing with your Gmail account, so you do get information that you need on time. So other applications are like the call, contacts. These are pretty much standard. The Snake game has been reviewed thousands of times. Nothing much interesting here. It's just some additional games. There are tons of other games in the App Store. Text messages are here. And let's see, the Twitter app. The official Twitter app doesn't really work, so you can go to the App Store and download another app called TweetFeed, which is optimized for KaiOS. Something that is really good, especially for people like me where we use Twitter more. So this is something that we can use on KaiOS devices. So it's a standalone dedicated app, which is good. So you've got voice recorder, you've got unit converters, notes for notes taking purposes. File manager, as I've said earlier, does support an SD card, so you can easily access your SD card. You've got a music player here. No music in my device here. Now, one thing sad is the FM radio here. Unlike the current generation of Nokia feature phones where the design is wireless FM radio, this is very much wired FM radio, so you do need it to be connected, which is a bummer. I would have preferred it to be wireless. Maybe the design would have been a reason why it couldn't be wireless, I suppose, but it'll be nice to have a wireless option. Do take note, this device does have Bluetooth for Bluetooth version 4, so you can connect it to your Bluetooth earbuds, listen to all the musics that you want. And let's just go to the camera. As I've said earlier, I'll be sharing the camera samples towards the end of the video, but it's just a basic 2 megapixel fixed focus camera which will do good job in adequate lighting, and with just a press of a button you go to video recording options, and it's not much is stated regarding the quality of the video other than low, standard and high resolution. I think this is as basic as it's going to get with this kind of devices, so it's pretty much acceptable. Now going to the settings, then you will see that you can use the dual SIM. Sorry, let's go to the mobile network and data. So it does show you the data that is being used, which SIM card is going to use the data. As I said earlier, Bluetooth is available, and voice over LTE is something that is available, and this device can be used for hotspot purposes. So when it comes to personalization, this is where I say that the search engine is something that you can actually change to Yahoo, Bing, DuckDuckGo, anything of your preference. You're not really locked into a particular search engine. Display wise, nothing much there other than changing the brightness and the wallpaper. Pretty much straightforward. And I've been asked regarding the network, so can you use other than 4G? So this is a 4G device. Can you just use it for any other other than 4G? Yes, you can use it for 2G alone, 2G or 3G if it's available, and definitely 4G because it's a 4G device. And what I really like about this device is not just that it is the build quality and the ruggedness. It's just that I feel that one of the downfalls of KaiOS with Nokia devices, especially taking into consideration devices like the Nokia 8110 4G, the build quality was so poor, it is so clunky, and being an interface that requires manual or a hard touch for input purposes, you want it to be durable, you want it to be solid, so that it doesn't really feel clunky interacting with the device. So the Nokia 800 TAF really does it very well in that sense. I really like how well spaced the keypads are, how well raised they are, so that you really get a satisfactory clicking every time you type on the device. Now they've also made the device easier in terms of accessibility, because there's tons of shortcuts here. So if you were to press hold this, and it automatically launches this so-called always on screen. So this is something that is interesting. You can of course switch it to vibrate only, pressing this button here. Pressing the 0 button gives you access to the browser, and you've got all these numbers here which you can be used as a shortcut for your contacts. Now this is itself a shortcut button where with a click you can assign to launch a certain application of your interest. So this is something that I have not assigned yet. Right if you go to left, press the central keypad. This gives you access to all the important apps that you want. So this is something that is cool. And if you were to press on top here, this gives you access to the many of the other shortcuts in terms of volume, brightness, whether to switch off your network, Wi-Fi connection, and even the torchlight if you want to. So I would say that the Nokia 8110 4G here, sorry, the Nokia 800 TUF here is really a good device. Should have been the device that they launched KaiOS with. In terms of usability, it makes KaiOS more bearable than the Nokia 8110 4G, for example. And another thing that I would like just to add in is that a lot of people have been complaining that they've got issues connecting WhatsApp on a Nokia KaiOS device, where it just hangs in the connecting phase of it. So what you just need to do is you need to do a reset of the device, and then you're good to go. So in 2024, the question is no longer whether do we need the Nokia 800 TUF, is whether you want them or not. Now it's hard to say whether HMD Global will be making something like this in the future, but I have to say that the Nokia 800 TUF is definitely a good purchase, especially if you're getting it at a very good price. Like I've got this at about USD 20, so really attractive pricing, and it's definitely a no-brainer whether it's running KaiOS or not running KaiOS. Just simply having an extra durable build for a feature phone device as a companion device, this is definitely a crazy purchase for sure. So having said that, I hope you enjoyed this simple video. I hope to see you in the next one. Do take care and stay safe. If you have any question, do reach me out in the comment section on Twitter. I'll try my best to answer you on time. So see you in my next one.